Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Old school game was about looking good. Yeah. Oh man. You know what? Yeah, I remember I think a few weeks ago I did this podcast and I put a link to this video where like some young women were choosing some young men, and they were choosing them primarily based on how they looked, right? And if you actually explore different sections of YouTube, especially a lot of young people, that's a big thing with them, right? But and so they picking people based off their look. The young people off their look, whether they find it cute or fine or whatever, their drip. I'm gonna say the young people were. This is it got that drip, right? Everything, basically off their physical appearance. And if you look at even social media or like online dating, when you swiping these apps and stuff, that's just how good you look in the picture. But that's actually old school game. Some people think it's new. Mates think it's new for some reason, which to me, I'm like, no, that's how they always did it. And it's amazing you get some younger people who think that way. And I'm like, well, you didn't live back in the day. So how would you know? And it's really go back. I know from my grandmother that joint go back to about the 1910s at least. At least. Now she wasn't that old, but she told me how her parents carried it. She told me how my great grandfather used to have that hookup. He used to have that hookup, body build hookup. He actually played football. My great grandfather played football. And so he had to be thorough black man playing football back in the early part of the century. But check it out. Oh, and that was hardcore. But check it out though. That's old school game. That's old school game. Now see, one of the things I thought about, because every now and then, I get a detractor. Say, oh, you old, you don't know what's going on. Bama, please. I get out more. I guarantee I get out more than any detractor. I get out more. Because Rom is not married. And Rom is not exactly celibate either. So I'm like, well, damn. If Rom's still out here, still doing his thing, and basically getting women the same way I did when I was younger. Oh, and for anybody, you always get somebody say receipts. Go to my IG. And hell, did a video on this channel with my young lady. So whatever. So check it out though. Check it out. Old school game was about that appearance because the old school guys knew that. The old school guys knew it. In fact, you had whole cultures, subcultures around that. Like growing up in the D.C. area, you had to be fly. Or you had to have that drip. And that's the other place, Chicago. Oh, yeah. Chicago players, good Lord. Chicago players don't play. They got that drip. I got to give it to them. You know what, as an aside, one day I'm going to do a public thing, get players from each state, maybe do a reality show. That would be interesting. But it's still that same thing. See, people think there's some new shit, or you get some people, people might focus too much on the mouthpiece. There's a focus there. That was part of old school game too, anyway, having that rap. We called it having a rap, right? But the main thing you had to have that bait. So that was how you looked. Because women, they check you out. I talk about that in my 3 seconds video on demand. I talk about that there. In fact, I'm going to link that video, my 3 seconds video. Because women decide in the first 3 seconds whether or not they're going to mess with you, and that is just based off your look. But that was old school game, because I'm going to tell you what. First of all, I told y'all, been around some women and stuff, they were telling you stuff. But then, I first learned that from my uncle. I never forget this one incident. I was 7 years old. He came and picked me up to go to church. My hair wasn't combed. He tore into me. Now, understand my uncle. He was like, personality-wise, like Alonzo Harris from Training Day. Looks-wise, looked like Billy D. Billy D. Williams. So he kept this shit thorough. He kept this shit tight. And shoot, he was always fly. That was the whole family. My grandfather was fly. And that's how it still is. If you think about it, look at the videos. Look at the videos now. What some of these young folks are doing. They be doing these public interview videos. They be asking about stuff like that. Shit. And really, you know what's funny? It's not even the young people who's saying this stuff. It's usually some dudes in their 30s or something who don't have game, who thinking some shit changed. To be honest with you. But whatever the case, I ain't gonna get into all that. Now the thing it was always about looking good. That's what I learned from my cousins, because they would just fly, uncle and cousins. They would make sure my hair was tight, cut, had a bunch of barbers in the family, make sure my shoe style was good. And even, they ain't even have to go into the body game. One thing back in the day, and this is a real serious matter, men were in shape better. Because everybody had, if you in some of the old hoods, you basically need three things. Three basic things, right? You needed to be, hold on, let me count them. You needed to be able to be clean. You needed to be sharp, decent dress, a sharp dress, or you got clowned, right? So that's one. You had to have a rap with the women. Okay, fourth thing. So your second one, you had to be able to talk to women, or you clown, just ordinary talk. They call it a rap, whatever. The old school guys would be like, hey, man, you go talk to her. All right? You had to be able to hold your own in a fight. Even if you got your ass whipped, you had to be able to stand up and, give what you were getting. Even if you lost, a lot of times, if you held your own, that same person who might have kicked your ass, the next week somebody come against you, that same person had your back. In fact, a lot of friendships started with that. But it's a respect thing, right? And then you had to be good at some type of ball. Right? So back then you had that style, but you also had that physicality. Like the pickup courts were, they were full. You had to have some type of game in, particularly basketball and football, right? Particularly back then, basketball and football, all right? You had to have some type of game there. You had to be able to hold your own in one of those sports to get any real respect out in the streets or anything, You had to have some type of jump shot, something you could do on the court, right? If you didn't have that. But now even for the athletic part, the particular sport, that meant you were in better shape. And that's a big thing. A lot of guys, if you look at overall American society now, a lot of people just bigger. A lot of people bigger. The food, it's so much genetically modified stuff and stuff that got female hormones in it and stuff. A lot of people just putting on some weight. So it was different back then. It was different. So people were in better shape. But whatever, that contributed to how the dude looked. That contributed to how the dude looked because, that body thing, that physical thing affects even your face. But if you had those four basic things, boom. But the main part of it was just looking good, the bait. That happens now. But somebody could get robbed. They had the certain type of shoes or jacket. That's how important it was. Still happens. Looking fly. And I'm like, okay, so what's really changed? What has really changed? Nothing. So it's old school game. Well, it's the same. Shoot. Man, before all those dudes got waves and stuff, yeah, we had our waves too. I mentioned that before. I was like, y'all should have seen Rom's waves. Rom said his little nice waves and everything, Yeah, but anyway, right? That was the thing. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.